What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Thank you so much for joining in with us. As again, we got another weekly live stream, but also too, we got a special one today. As again, today is the first meeting of the Tommy Tank White fan club, baby. Yes, again, as you can see, again, we're still putting bits and pieces together. Some of us got the wigs in, some of us got the glasses in, some of us got the chains in. We're still all putting it together, and obviously that's part of the agenda that we're going to be discussing today. Make sure we're all fit and ready to go. Is again, man, what a absolute outbreak by Tommy Tanks this weekend. Unbelievable, to say the least. But before we get going, make sure again, if you're tuning in here with us, make sure again, send us a comment. Let us at least know who's here with us. But also too, obviously we're going to be talking about just probably one of the most craziest NC State athletics weekends maybe of all time. I'm telling you, I mean, to have 5 ACC championships in one weekend, I think that's that's pretty tough to beat. So anyway, so make sure again and also if you haven't already, give us a follow, subscribe to the channel to don't miss out on any of our future NC State content. Give us a video like. But Greg, obviously I'll give you credit. Obviously you were the first one to bring up the idea of going all Tommy White out and all that jazz. So I mean, when did that idea hit you? And I mean, again, obviously, some struck a chord for you for sure to be like, hey, we're going to be dressing up like Tommy White.
Yeah, Dave Portnoy can be El Presidente of Barstool, but I am El Presidente of the Tommy Tanks White fan club. Let's go.
There you go.
Yes,
I think it was after the slam on what was it, Saturday, right? I think
Grand Slam was Saturday.
Yeah, I think it was after the Grand Slam on Saturday. I was like, we got to do something now. Like three was awesome, right? On opening day, first time since 2010 a state player has done that. But the slammer on Saturday was like, let's do it. Like this is going to only get bigger. And then of course on Sunday he hit another one for 5 for the weekend. And before we get too ahead of ourselves, he was the ACC Player of the Week and the National Player of the Week. So I mean, if that doesn't start the fan club right off right there, then what does?
Exactly. Now, well, and obviously too, looking at you guys too, man, I love the reflective glasses. That's why I'm so mad that mine haven't come in yet. But I'm going to be jumping on that once it gets here, because I think that definitely takes it to another level for sure. So again, and I was actually taking a look back too, and but here, Michael, one thing real quick. So besides Tommy White, I mean, obviously a lot of positives this weekend. So again, we're going to talk a little bit more about Tommy White, but I also do want to make sure to talk about everybody else, because there's no doubt, I think with Sam Highfill, he started off strong on Friday for sure. And I think that he just kind of, started to get, started to lose some of his juice a little bit, obviously on Friday, which led to, a couple runs and they pulled him out, and, then we pretty much took care of it from there. But, and obviously Matt Wilson looked solid. David Harrison did a heck of a job for his first start in quite some time as well. So a lot of, first of all, positives, I think, from the pitching side. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Sam Highfill, like you said, he came out pretty much in like we expected him to start the season. And overall, the weekend was pretty much couldn't ask for a better weekend offensively or from the pitching side.
Yeah, absolutely. But and one other point which I do want to make now with Tommy White though is that it's crazy again that he's the first player to hit 3 home runs in a game since 2010, but to do that in your first ever game in college, that's insane. Crazy. I mean that's incredible. And so I mean, and Daniel Neal said best NC State debut ever. I mean,
here's the fact: they were no doubters. Like they
were all center field.
Yeah, they didn't. Feet. Yeah. I mean, I think he might have made a mile worth of home runs this weekend.
Probably. Yeah,
probably pretty close. What is that? 2,500?
I don't know. Don't make me do math.
Well, 5,280 feet. So
he's probably 5,280 feet. He's probably a little short. Maybe half a mile. Probably half.
But so again, Kendall Rogers put together stats. So let's read them out for those who haven't seen it. So 14 at bats, a 643 batting average, 5 home runs, 12 RBIs, a 688 OBP, and a 1.714 slugging percentage. That is insane.
And that's just that's just slugging, not OPS, which is what a lot of players go by, and that's just slugging.
Right. No, I know, no kidding. And on top of that, too, again, I mean, he got intentionally walked, I think, twice this week, actually, too. Which again, that's another crazy thing too, because again, you rarely see players at all get intentionally walked, and much less a guy who's in his literally first ever weekend of college baseball. Like, I mean, when have you ever seen that before?
I mean, he's definitely
didn't want none of that smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. No. I mean, it kind of came out of nowhere, but at the same time, he was like a top 20 recruit and the number one in his position. So gotta make sense too.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because I remember talking after the game yesterday to Justin Cook, and he was telling me, he was like, you know, everybody was this all season was saying, yo, Devontae Brown's going to take a step up. Devontae Brown's going to take a step up, and you know, kind of replace that Johnny Butler, who I think, you know, was predominantly our power hitter last year. And Justin Cook was like, I think Dommy White's going to be that guy. So hats off to Justin for definitely calling that out. Yeah, look at Justin saying,
"What's up?" He just showed up.
He just showed up. There we go. So first of all, I wanted to touch on some of the comments before we move forward. So Daniel Neal said, "Y'all look great. Appreciate it, Daniel." Again, still work in progress. Still don't have the whole shebang yet, but we're working on it. And Old State Boy says, "Best bullpen we've had in a long time." And to that, I would say, we still haven't really seen our most. Well, we still haven't even seen most of our best pitchers. I mean, most of the guys that played this weekend were really we were just basically seeing, you know, where we stand. Like, you know, Garrett Payne, I think David Harrison are really still battling for that last starting spot. You know, we're still working on, you know, maybe some relief pitchers as well. But I mean, again, you still haven't even seen most of our best pitchers yet. So I mean, I would say still a work in progress, but you know, we'll see with that. And then Russell says, "Can Leighton gone tonight like he did on Twitter this weekend?" And to that, Russell, I would say I wasn't singing it. I was just bobbing my head along with it. So, you know, if I did sing it, I'd be like, yeah, I guess I'd need to do that. But no,
we need a little carpool karaoke with you, Leighton.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Yes. No, absolutely. And then Justin said, "Yep, still have a lot of arms that haven't pitched yet." So, yeah, I mean, again, hey, it's a great start. And again, looking at like a lot of teams, I mean, you could be Vanderbilt, you know, that lost, you know, their first series of the weekend. I know against obviously number 7 Oklahoma State, a little different matchup. I get it, but also too, I would say you could be ECU, where you get swept by Bryant at home, which, you know, ouch, that hurts. So, yeah, exactly. But again, hey, worst comes worst, you know, and we tweeted this out as well, that I know heading into this offseason, you saw, okay, well, we only have 2 of our starters back from our lineup last year, so that's going to hurt us offensively. And then, bam, first game out of the Hedgehog and 24 runs. You know, all right, well, it was nice to have that, you know, worry while it lasted. Like, you know, that's gone. So
I'll take 3 touchdowns at a field goal anytime.
Amen to that.
Looks like a football score, 24-6.
Exactly. So Greg, though, so talk a little bit more from the batting side. So who really stood out to you besides Tommy White, and maybe besides like the JT Jarrett and the Devontae Brown? So like more from the new faces side.
Yeah, I mean, Devontae didn't even have that great of a series. I mean, he did have 4 RBIs, but from a batting average standpoint, I think he was like 265 for the weekend. So, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's when you score, 36 runs in a series, it's kind of hard to find, you know, things wrong with your offense. But you know, he did have 4 RBIs, had a nice hit on I think it was Sunday's game, Saturday or Sunday. But Hood was really good. I thought he had a nice weekend. You know, we did hit the 7 home runs. You know, we've already talked about the 5 from Tommy Tanks, and then the other 2 were Pinoli. I think I'm saying his name right. I don't know.
Dominic Piloli.
Yeah,
Piloli.
The transfer from Charlotte.
Good,
yeah, he was good, really good Friday. He hit 2 bombs on Friday, but we didn't hit any other home runs other from those 2. But we moved the. We did a great job of small ball. I know Jarrett had a nice bunt in one of the games, move runners along, and then he had a nice hit to the first baseman to, you know, hit behind the runners to move some more runners up. So a lot of good small ball. So yeah, and then Justin's right. Yeah, get that guy's name right. Poloni. I know he's coming back from a knee injury from last year. So, but yeah, he's not even 100% yet. So other than that, I thought, we did great. It's like I said, when you score 36 runs in a weekend series, it's really hard to find fault in a lot of the offense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, I mean, one of the things which I want to say is, I mean, if I'm a UNC Charlotte fan, looking at, the NC State games this weekend, I'm just like slapping my, forehead, like looking at James Groover the third and looking at Paloli going, man, like, that sucks. That's a lot. That's a loss. But also too, one of the things I want to ask you, Michael, is would you say that James Groover the third is in the running for name of the year in college baseball?
It's a unique one for sure.
Yeah.
I haven't done an inventory of all the names around the country, but that's a good name.
It's got to be in the running for sure. Yeah, but Tommy Tanks is like it's a nickname. But I'm saying like James Groover III, that is his actual name, which is awesome. So I love it. And then okay, interesting. So Justin actually points out that Evansville is actually at Vanderbilt on Wednesday. So, and not necessarily like a measuring stick exactly. I mean, like if Vanderbilt blows them out, it's not like it says much. But if Evansville gives them some game, it's like interesting. So but that's baseball every single day, every single game is a different story. So I mean it's really to kind of really have those measuring points. I feel like with baseball. Unless you're Brian and you beat ECU 3-0, then I think that's pretty straightforward. Then, so
I don't think anyone saw that one coming.
No, absolutely not. So, anyway, though, and then also Just Cook mentioned that Xavier is actually beating. I'm sorry, it's not Xavier. It's Xavier is beating Louisville 4-1 right now. So that'll be interesting as well. But anyway, though, so again, we got so much to get to. Again, unfortunately, we just really have to, say, hey, listen, we did an amazing job, and I think we have High Point on Tuesday. So I think that's our next game.
And then Longwood on Wednesday.
That's right. So we'll see where we continue on that. But jumping right into next, so why don't we touch on women's basketball first? Because I think that again, I mean, definitely, I think that's a huge. A huge thing again to get the first regular season championship since 1990 for NC State, which I mean, it's crazy to even think about, how good this team has been over the last couple of years, and yet we haven't won a regular season championship yet. So I think that it's awesome just to kind of be able to brush that aside now, and and again, and I'm one that I don't care if we lost to Virginia Tech. If we did, knock on wood, I'm not saying we will. I'm saying if we did, and we technically have the same record as Louisville. There's no way that Louisville could possibly, legitimately claim a co-conference championship, because then we beat them outright, straightforward. There's no way. So and we'll talk about wrestling, but that's kind of was my issue with wrestling, and that's why I kind of waited to really blast it out, like put it on the. Put it like on the collage, because I know that if Virginia Tech would have won, then it was like a huge asterisk on it. It was like, well, you only got it because we forfeited, but we technically beat you outright. So, but anyway, but really focus on women's basketball first. That was kind of my 2 cents when it came to that.
We had two big blowouts this week against Wake and Syracuse. Beat them by I think by 40 points each game. I know in the Wake game in the third quarter we put up 37 in the third, and that was a season high for a quarter. So that was really good. 37. I mean, heck, the men's team didn't even score that in a game, but we won't go there. But
wow, low blow.
Sunday was senior night or senior day. We said goodbye, unfortunately, to 4 of our very productive ladies with Kai and Kayla and Kunane and Perez. So, but Kunane technically could come back next year because she does have that COVID year, but we'll see how that goes. I doubt it. She's like a top 5 WNBA pick, but we never know.
Doubt it.
No, but
and again, it's the same exact story of that. If we win the whole thing, she should go.
At that point, you've got nothing to come back for if you win the whole thing.
No,
exactly.
No.
So
even if she didn't win AC Player of the Year, which honestly I wouldn't be too surprised if she didn't get it right now. She just really hasn't been as dominant as we've expected. She's still been great, but she just hasn't been that caliber. She's kind of had some lulls, which she's kind of had to fight her way out of. But overall, there's been a lot of talent that's really came out of nowhere this year in the ACC, which is great for the ACC, obviously. So, but yeah, so here I'm gonna add Macon in here as we finally got him in here with us. Yeah, Macon.
I'm sorry, my name's Tommy. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, I'm a little late, guys. I was out crushing some home runs over the street into from High Point into Cary to Raleigh. That's all I do is hit home runs, guys. That's all I do.
Some bangers.
Yeah, I mean, I was hitting them with like a broomstick, and they were going 500 feet. I mean, I just can't. What do I say?
Yeah, no, exactly. Why should any pitcher ever throw a ball to you ever again? That's
I know. I mean, I was playing fetch with my dog, and I was like, just go ahead, and it's not even worth it, man. You throw it back to me, I'm gonna just intentionally walk the dog. I mean, it's just
exactly.
This is a good look, guys. I mean, I'm trying to figure out who. See, I don't know. This is pretty good look.
I like it.
I think we would make Tommy proud. I think the baseball team proud here.
Yep.
The guys
there's no doubt. We're taking it. I'm taking a screenshot of this afterwards, and I'm tweeting it out, being like, "Hey, Tommy, how we do?" So still a work in progress. Obviously, still missing a couple of pieces, which we're
still I think you and Greg have the funniest haircuts right now.
Yeah,
yours particularly.
Well, yeah.
Yours just kind of stops right here.
I hope so.
Well, I had to have time to fluff it, like Greg. Greg's got the fluffiness on the side that I don't have.
Right.
Greg's hat just like sits on top of his head. That's what's so funny.
It's not even on his head; it's just sitting on top of his head.
My head's already big enough, and then you got the wig on top of it. It's just too much. So
that was me too.
So I just wanted
man, what a weekend! What a weekend!
No kidding.
Sorry, I realized I was late. The real reason I had technical difficulties on my end, but I like to say that I was out crushing home runs. Just on a Monday
exactly.
afternoon. So.
Exactly.
Hey, going back to your point about Cunane, I don't know if people realize she's only playing 25 minutes a game this season. So if you give her another 10 minutes, she's probably going to give you another 5 to 8 points a game.
True.
So we just haven't needed her. We're so much depth on the team. I mean, you have Sophie Hart that's third string, and she was a 5-star coming out of Minnesota.
So, sorry, I can't take you seriously, man. Honestly, put the glasses back on. It makes me take you more seriously.
All right.
I didn't have the whole look.
Yeah,
it makes more sense now.
Yeah, that's much better.
All right.
You're much more legitimate when you put the glasses on.
Yeah, that's fair. But no, Cunane, I mean, she's still had a really solid season. She'll probably be first or second team All ACC.
Yeah.
I think Kelly out of UNC will probably get Player of the Year. I know she's averaging like 26 or 27 points. But at the end of the day, I don't think Cunane really cares. She wants that national championship, or obviously the ACC and then the national championship. And she's not a me person. You know what I mean? She's team first. Everything will come to her. So I'm not really worried about that.
No, and I mean, at the end of the day, if she won AC Player of the Year, didn't win AC Player of the Year, it's not like it's going to hurt her or help her draft stock. At the end of the day, what she does in the core is what will really determine that. So, I mean, exactly.
I feel like
I completely agree with you.
She really doesn't have. She's kind of reached her ceiling, like WNBA draft stock wise at this point.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But yeah, obviously, got a game coming up here to finish off the regular season against Virginia Tech. And then after that, got a little bit of a break here before the women's tournament starts. Not this week, but the following week. So should be good. And again, I mean, hey, I think that between UNC's looked really good. Obviously, you got Louisville, you got Notre Dame. There's a lot of teams this year that could really make some noise in the ACC tournament. I really do feel like, that and that's what kind of, I'm. Obviously I'm one that I want to be, there on I want us to be there on Sunday playing but I mean, I know that obviously, even though we still have to play 2 games to get there, they're not going to be pushovers. I mean, that's going to be almost guaranteed. They're not going to be pushovers. And I feel good if going against Notre Dame a second time, just because they got us the first time. But like a Carolina per se, not saying we would, but I'm just saying it's a rivalry game, so we know anything can happen in a rivalry game. But on top of it, we got them the first 2 times, but also too, I mean, like especially specifically one at Carolina, it was close. We really kind of had to separate there at the end to really bring it home.
Had to come back,
Yep.
Exactly.
Hard to beat a team 3 times in one season.
It is. It is. But I mean, Wolfpack Nation will travel really well out to Greensboro, so we should kind of have a.
Sure.
I mean, there's no doubt we'll have the best crowd there.
Oh yeah.
So assuming that it's probably maybe good for a couple of points, maybe a turnover here or there, especially late in the game. So yeah, but you're right. We only played Louisville once this year, and that was a barn burner at Reynolds. We had to storm back from 14 down. We lost to Notre Dame. So I mean, there's definitely some good storylines. It'll just be a matter of how the draw plays out.
And one quick thing which I thought was hilarious was it was last week I woke up and to watch Hayden Hidlay and Clay Loud on AC Networks, which I know now kind of sucks, but right after that one of the Louisville players was on and they were talking about that game, about us coming back and beating them, and she was like, oh yeah, no, we got that game circled, like we're gonna make right for that game. And it was literally that night they lost to Carolina, and I'm like,
Ooh,
are we looking ahead a little bit here? What was that?
They got to get to the championship game first.
I was gonna say that. There's no guarantee we see them,
and there's no guarantee we get there either. So before we get off the rails here, not that we already aren't off the rails by the way we were dressed, but
do you guys know who would be match up? I mean, whoever the 8 or 9 seed is.
I don't know. Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Boston College.
Probably Boston College. Yeah. I was thinking like a Boston
Florida State.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
If it ended today.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, there's still games left this week. And who knows if Virginia's even going to be there, because they've had to forfeit a couple of games for COVID. So, who knows how that's going to play out. So,
but so really, I mean, theoretically, if I'm not mistaken, and Megan, I'm sure you're looking at it, so let me know if I'm wrong, but top 4 right now would be us, Louisville, Carolina, and Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is like 3rd. Carolina was like 5th the last time I saw.
Notre Dame and Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So NC State's 1, Louisville's 2, Notre Dame's 3, Virginia Tech's 4, Carolina is 5. Surprisingly, Georgia Tech is 6th. I'm kind of surprised they're
that Virginia Tech Carolina game would be really good. That would be a really
I'm trying to look
game.
to see who would be else. So it would be the 8, the 12, and the 13, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
But if State and Louisville finish 1-2, then we won't. It'll have to be the championship game.
Now Louisville
play them.
Okay. I was going to say Louisville does have 2 games this week, so we only have 1. They have Notre Dame to finish the season out, and that's no give me. I mean, that's no give me. But they do play Pitt, and Pitt's fairly weak. I think they're in the bottom 3rd.
I'm looking at now State. So in State side of the bracket, it's the 12 and 13 seed, which in this case would be Wake Forest and Clemson playing a playing game essentially. Again, and then the winner goes to the 5 seed, which would be Carolina. And then Carolina would play the 4 seed, which would be Virginia Tech, like you're saying. So, and then Boston College and Florida State be on our side.
Okay.
I honestly, I kind of like that because I like avoiding playing some teams that I'd be more scared of. Like I don't have to worry about Louisville. I don't have to worry about Georgia Tech. I think makes me a little nervous. I mean, we've beaten Carolina, but did they beat us this season?
No, we beat them both games.
Yeah,
but they did knock off Louisville though last week.
Yeah,
I did see that. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll make a note, guys. We look good. I just want to say, we look good.
Yeah, we should have started this. Maybe we need to make this like not just a wig, but just like a full, full on look, like Michael. Just
I said I'm growing it out. Let us
go. Exactly.
Except, I got black hair.
And then Russell says, we moved up to 3 this week because Louisville's lost. So all season it's been us flipping back and forth with Louisville. So I think that's
So I mean, at the end of the day, again, I mean, I think at this point, we'll see. But it'll be interesting. Let's put it this way: it'll be a great tournament. Definitely make sure, again, if you haven't already, make sure to get those tickets. I know for me personally, I'm actually going to be going up there with my family, going up to Charlottesville with my family for the wrestling tournament. So we'll be there on Sunday for that. But hopefully while in Greensboro, Wolfpack Nation will fill it out, and women will take care of business to win back to back ACC championships, tournament championships, actually. Three-peat. Exactly. And one thing which I want to mention is Russell's mentioned about how it was cool that Avon gave kudos to Wes in his post-game presser.
Yeah.
And one thing I do want to say is I've definitely learned from my time being inside the football program that all the coaches are, well, most of the coaches, but I would definitely, I would say pretty much all, but at least most are very tight knit. Meaning that, anybody who says anything bad about one, it's heard by all. They're tight knit, and same thing about good as well. As again, there's no doubt that first of all, I mean, Avens, he's the classiest guy you will ever meet, and one of the biggest NC State fans you'll ever meet as well.
Yeah, does anybody as a coach love State more than him? No, I mean maybe someone like like Coach Raleigh for the track team who's been there forever, or
like 40 years.
Yeah, something like that. But
exactly. So definitely wanted to mention that again. I mean, Avon's a great guy, but also too, I think that Wes. I saw Coach Landris with gymnastics. She was actually at the wrestling meet with her family last night. Again, it's a tight knit group, which is one thing I love. And I think it was Tucker Blankenship actually that tweeted out saying, after a weekend like this, it makes you wonder why any State fan would be so all in on football or men's basketball. I mean, and because that's one of the main reasons that we made Tuffy Talk, is because basically we want to say, listen, there's so much going on and that is amazing within NC State right now. I mean,
other sites don't cover as much.
Exactly. And so and that's why, again, I mean, wrestling right now is I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now, and I've heard this from multiple people that have gone to the Carolina match, but specifically went to the Virginia Tech match last night, is that, I mean, that is, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinions, the peak of like intensity of sports. Like, it was so intense in Reynolds last night. It was incredible. And like for Hayden to pull off that huge win over Mekhi Lewis, who again was a former NCAA champion, and if I'm not mistaken, has like a 35 match win streak or something like that in the ACC.
Well, Hayden Hindley had one too, and he lost however many he had in a row. So he
never lost. He never lost in ACC.
Yeah.
He never lost in ACC. So exactly.
And guys, in the comments, we realize Greg is like a
legend. We know,
like a legend. Yeah, he's a celebrity. Is what I'm looking for.
He's a
We
celebrity.
get it. He carries the weight around here. Like is
that a fat joke? Is that a fat joke?
Well, I mean, no, it wasn't a fat joke. Could be. I'm kidding.
Watching you. Yeah, bad choice of words, Megan. Bad choice of words.
Yeah, he really carries the weight. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
No. So anyway, so got, oh wow. so okay, so now we mentioned wrestling, so I guess we definitely need to talk about that there, because definitely a huge, I mean, it's not often you get two matches in the same weekend, but it's very not often, if not ever, in the history of NCAA wrestling that you have two duels against two, top 20, but I mean, I think UNC was like 2022, something like that. Yeah. But still, that so you get basically a top 25 matchup against your rival, and then 2 days later, you got a huge match in your conference against a top 10 team with a lot of huge individual matches on the line as well. And because again, I mean, still in my eyes, I still viewed last night as still that we were competing for that regular season championship, even though technically we won it on Friday. And because I want to kind of talk about that as well, is that, a lot of people, were saying, after Friday, like, because, again, I didn't put it into the collage saying, well, he left out in state wrestling. They won the dual championship. And I'll actually mention this to you guys about Coach. I actually spoke with Coach Hall, who's the assistant coach for wrestling. And one of the things he said was that they actually, on purpose, actually waited to bring out the trophy until after they beat Virginia Tech. And because one of the things that he was saying was that apparently Virginia Tech is very ruthless when it comes to, beating teams. Like apparently after they beat UNC, they put out like this graphic of like a Hokie that was it was like holding a leash, and the leash had like a ram on it, like a ram head on it, and stuff. But yeah, and so there was a lot of pressure on them to win, to basically not put that huge asterisk, because then if Virginia Tech would have won it, then Virginia Tech would have said, well, we're the true regular season champions. The only reason that they got it is because we had to forfait
because you couldn't handle your business.
Exactly true. But still at the end of the day, but still at the end of the day, anybody who sees, okay, well, you won or you got it because of business behind the scenes. It's like, okay, at the end of the day, wrestlers they're so competitive that I mean, I guarantee you, and I said this on Twitter, that if we would have lost that match, I think they probably wouldn't even brought the trophy out.
I was just about to say that. What would they have done if we lost to Virginia Tech?
Wouldn't even brought it out. No way.
Yeah, that they just move. Yeah, no, they basically put an exclamation point on it. They stamped it and go, you're done. Get out.
Yeah. They finished. They took care of business. They finished the job.
And when they didn't really have to, it was just a bigger challenge for their team.
They did it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what being competitor is. You don't play just to do enough. You play to truly, if you want to do it, you play to win and play to your best every time, even if it means crushing them. Like that's why I hate if you see personally, I mean, I get the whole putting bench warmers in kind of thing, but sometimes I just want you to crush them, make a statement. So
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Wait, what were you gonna say?
Like Tommy White.
I was just gonna say the same thing as making you can pull any quotes, remember the Titans, remember this is the night that they, blah blah blah, I mean, any of those movie speeches. You want to dominate your opponent. That is what sports is about. It's not about just getting the W. Sportsmanship. What is that?
It's not about sportsmanship. It's about demoralizing the other opponent.
No, it's I don't know. I get it. There's sportsmanship, whatever. I want to dominate. I don't want them. I don't want to eke out a win. If I can dominate them, I'm going to dominate them.
My thing is though, because you never know. People will get a big lead and then kind of take it a little lax. No, you don't know if they're going to come back. Pulverize them. We're getting pretty violent on here, but just what would Tommy White do? Is the real thing we're getting at here.
I will break you.
Yeah.
No, but you're absolutely right, Macon. I hate the unwritten rules of sports. You finish the game. You start from the beginning and you finish the game. Don't leave a doubt. Don't give them an opportunity. So
yeah, Michael was saying too, for example, with when you go to handshake, the unwritten rule that you actually have to shake somebody's hand. If you want to punch somebody, just punch somebody, like Juwan Howard did.
Did you ever see that Twitter?
You have to shake their hand. It's this. Oh, okay. If I don't like you, I'm just going to punch you.
Has anyone ever seen that viral video of I think it was a high school handshaking line, and the guy's high five, and then he just pulls and punches a kid in the stomach. I mean, drops.
Yeah. I have seen that.
Yeah. I was like,
whoa,
that's a little aggressive.
Yeah, that's a little much.
We don't advocate for violence, but you don't have to have sportsmanship.
By the way, for those who didn't see it, Juwan Howard of Michigan punched another coach at the Wisconsin game at the end of the game during the handshake line.
He didn't punch him.
Well, he didn't punch him.
He threw his hand in an offensive manner. Who cares?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
He threw hands.
And then the update is that
he meant to hurt somebody.
Yeah. Right. No, and then the update is that now we've learned that he got suspended for 5 games,
which is the regular season for Michigan, just so you know.
Okay. Yeah, the rest of the regular season.
Which is he basically is not going to coach at all the regular season.
Okay,
but
so
if you think about it, that's just a culmination. They were a preseason top 5.
They were 7th in the Big Ten.
It was 7. Oh yeah, right now, yeah. That's a team that's definitely underperformed this season. So,
oh, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, this is Tuffy talk, not Michigan talk.
I know
exactly.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
That was crazy. Yeah, no, absolutely.
It was.
but yeah, Old State Boy says open-handed assault. Yeah. But one of the things I want to mention though with wrestling though is again, I mean, because you kind of mentioned about sportsmanship, and man, there was a lot of heat, last night between the two, and which I love it. At the time, when you're in it, I was, yelling like no other, but obviously afterwards, once all the pieces have settled and we came out with the W, it's like, hey, that's what makes that sport great, seeing like after the guy wins, and and like Tariq, like put like his hand like
He did
down
that.
like by his ankle. Yeah, like basically like you small, and then and then like Kevin Jack like brushed him off, and it's like, hey, that's part of it. And then like the Virginia Tech wrestler, you did the raise the roof. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like that's cool or whatever. So,
what were your thoughts on Camacho getting taken out the way he was at the end of that match? That was a little excessive, I thought.
Okay, well, so first thing I want to mention about the Camacho match,
like, prepare yourself.
No, it's. I actually was going to bring this up. So
Yeah.
First of all, yeah, I mean, so I actually tweeted this out saying that it set a dangerous precedent. Like, it's like, I get it, because again, at the end of the day, he like it was. I think they were at 7-point lead. So if he could have gotten the last takedown, then it would have been a major decision. So I get it, but again, even watching it back as well, it was clear, and you heard the buzzer go off as he was picking him up. So I get it. That's kind of like I'm sure probably what the ref said was, I think that he's finishing the takedown, but it's like, okay, but see how far he went out, see how aggressive it was, see how dangerous it was. And again, it just, there's still a lot of matches left. So,
Right.
who knows what happens. Now, the one other thing I'll say though about Camacho, and this is not necessarily me calling him out by any means or whatever it is, then I get it that Sam Latona is a great wrestler. There's no doubt about it. Hats off to him. He's great. He's aggressive. He's technically very solid. But the issue I have when it comes to Camacho is that, I mean, right now, at least before the match, he was put as number 14th wrestler in the country. And over the last 2 years, he's put as easily a top 20 wrestler in the country. And the issue I have is that especially the way that he lost the first time in the VT duel last year, where he got beat in overtime or at the end of the period for Sam Latona to win it. Is that, how do you basically, it was a year that passed from then to now, and I don't know, again, because Sam Latona controlled that match. Like, he absolutely dominated Camacho. And it's like, how could you not like just be ready for the bell? Like, just like how did you not have like Sam Latona's like face, like stamped to your ceiling, like stamped behind your door.
Yeah.
And that way, like when that bell comes, it's like, listen, I'm taking you down, man. You had me last year, not this year, bro, not this year. And so again, luckily enough, there's still an opportunity here with the ACC tournament coming up here in 2 weeks here. But it's like, listen, man, like, you gotta finish this, man. You're too good to like, there's no way you should let Sam Latona beat you 4 times. There's no way you let him beat you 4 times. I'm because obviously I got a challenge right now going with Hayden Hidlay, the bounce back tour. And obviously did a huge win over Mekhi Lewis yesterday. But I mean, I definitely put a huge challenge out there to Camacho, being like, listen, man, you're a great wrestler. You need to step up and put Sam Latona in his place, and let him know, listen, I'm right there with you, bud. You're not above me. I'm right there with you. So that's kind of my thing I wanted to mention about Camacho as well. But
hopefully he gets another chance at the ACC tournament. So hopefully,
I'm sure
maybe that'll be the revenge finally, because I think he's lost to him like 4 or 5 times. I think I know he's
at least 3 times in a row. I know that.
Yeah, so I think he's lost to him 4 total. I think was what I've heard on the broadcast last night. So
okay, yeah. But also too, one of the things I do want to mention though is there's no doubt that I think the wrestling commentary is about as good as it gets for ACC Network, man. I mean, they got a great crew there, and I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head, but I know he's a former NCAA wrestler. Rock
Harrison.
Rock Harrison. Yep. So he's a former
really good
wrestler. He's a former NCAA referee as well. So he's knowledgeable, and he brings a lot of juice. He brings a lot of juice. So
he
I think
explains
he does
he
well.
explains it very well. Like for a novice like myself, I mean, he walks you through it and like tells you like what you're looking for and different holds and graphs.
I'm gonna tell you what, that commentator is one of the best what was the guy's name?
Rock Harrison.
Rock Harrison.
Yeah, man, he needs to go get paid somewhere, man. He's very good.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Rock, if you're listening out there. No, he's really good on Twitter too. He definitely he's very responsive to folks, like, you know, either positive. I've never really seen anyone negative. I mean, he's so good at what he does. And I know there's a bunch of people out there that are hoping that he covers both the ACC and the Nationals. So but yeah, I've definitely learned a lot from him. I appreciate his knowledge on the sport.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of juice, though, one guy which I love, I'm a huge fan of his, is Braden Holloway, who's the head swimming and diving coach for NC State. And because, I mean, I tweeted this out after they won the AC championship saying, like, please send me a video of him jumping in the pool, because there's nothing cooler than seeing him, how hyped he is, and, you know, him doing full out, you know, like, you know, start, you know, like, you know, belly flap into the pool with his hat on. I was like, yes, let's go. I love it.
That's a great celebration.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one of the coolest celebrations in sports for sure.
You got make sure the fans realize, like, I mean, like, so I saw some tweet like there was 3 championships won on Sunday. I think it was I mean, it's 4. Women's swimming, hockey, wrestling, women's basketball. Oh, hockey. Sorry.
Swimming was on Saturday.
Yeah, technically we already locked it up on Friday for wrestling. But,
yeah, that's true.
My whole thing is
the weekend.
Anyway,
just guys realize you're living in, like, I get basketball is down, and I mean, that breaks my heart. Men's basketball is down. It like breaks my heart. I want us to be, but we are like living in prime NC State history right now. We realize that you're living in that, because this is not common, having this much success on almost every area and every level of your athletic sport. So even like things like rifle or bass fishing, like, I mean, it's everywhere. Women's tennis, I don't think we've even touched on that yet. So
no. Softball's started well, and I know we posted I think last week's at some point all the current rankings of all of our programs, and I mean, it was just I mean, the list was this long.
It's like 10 things. All in the top 25.
Yeah. I mean, we're right on track probably to have another top 15 standings in the college cup or college championship challenge, whatever they call that, by Capital One. Yeah, Director's Cup. That's what it is. Thanks. Yeah. You know, and I know, like you said, everyone puts their focus on the basketball and football because those are the money makers and they get the most press.
And that's fair.
And that's fair. Yeah. I mean, they pay the bills, right? I mean, so they pay the bills so tennis can have a program, softball can have a program, gymnastics, whatever you want to, you know, call it. So, but let's look at the whole body of work and not just those 2 areas.
No, absolutely. Well, because again, literally, it's funny, literally, like, so for those who don't know, again, I have a personal phone, but then I have a phone for my work as well. And I use both of them to tweet with. And literally, so Friday I went to baseball and then wrestling. Saturday I went to gymnastics, and then Sunday I went to baseball, wrestling. And literally all 3 days, both of my phones were dead by dinner time. Like there was just so much going on that literally for both the wrestling matches, I had to use my wife's phone to tweet during the wrestling match. Like there was just so much going on. And like that, literally, like my wife was getting frustrated at me, going, "You're on your phone all the time." I'm like, well, this, like, they just won, or they just won, or they just did that. And it's like,
championship.
Do we need to start a GoFundMe for a battery pack for you?
Yeah, you need to get one of those.
Tuffy Talk can invest in a battery pack for you, Leighton.
Yeah, but
I appreciate it.
Get one of these. It was like $10 on Amazon. Gets you like full charges.
Stow it your wife's purse. Or you can carry her purse. We don't care. Like,
exactly.
Also, just a side note, I'm surprised Tuffy Talk doesn't have like courtside seats and club seats with Greg's celebrity status and as many times as Leighton goes to these games.
I see why you let me in. You're looking
right. No.
It's the hair. It's the hair.
It's the hair. No, but because like one of the things I want to mention as well is kind of touching on a couple more of these. But first of all, is that literally this weekend, if you went to Dale's softball field And then right beside it, there was another game. So literally, Southpaw was playing in Dale at the same time. Gymnastics was going on in Reynolds, but also too at the same time, probably women's basketball on Sunday was probably also playing at the same time in Reynolds Coliseum as well on Sunday. And then also at the same time, baseball was playing at Doak Field. So literally, like at the same time, you had 3 teams playing at the same time on campus. And I mean, literally, I think all of us
softball was done early on Sunday because we got the 5-inning 7+ because I think we won 11 to nothing or something like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, but your point is taken. Like there was, if you're a student on campus and you can't find something to do, like that's your problem. Like there's so many good teams.
I don't get it.
I can't help you.
I can't help you.
Yeah, it's nothing. But yeah. So to kind of touch a little bit. So yeah, first of all, I mean, again, obviously, women's tennis this year has been phenomenal. Obviously, everything they did last year of getting to the first ever Final Four for women's tennis. I mean, I'm just saying, I think they have higher aspirations for this year. Let's put it that way. I mean, they've been absolutely dominant this year and have absolutely turned heads
this weekend too.
Number 3, Texas, the defending NCAA champion, by the way, Texas. So that was impressive. And then softball again. I mean, they're 9-1 right now. I think the technician put out. I think they're the combined score from this weekend was like 44-6 or something like that.
Yeah.
They played the Wolfpack Classic is what they were calling it this weekend. So they played 5 games and they won all 5. And they had the run rule in 3 of those 5.
They play. I know, like you said, they're shorter games, but like they play double headers in these tournaments almost every day.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday they played Lehigh on Thursday, and then Friday they played I think Fairfield and Mount St. Mary's for the
St. Mary's.
Yeah, and then I know they played Fairfield and Mount St. Mary's again, and I think they played they did Lehigh and Fairfield on Friday, Fairfield and Mount St. Mary's on Saturday, then one against Mount St. Mary's on Sunday. That's what it was. So,
but anyway, so basically the point being is that they played a lot of baseball and they played 5 games and won all 5 of them. And multiple of them, they actually didn't even give up a run. One of them, they actually went through a combined no-hitter, which is impressive as well. So again, I mean, it's like, softball's heading in the right direction. Weekend. It's So, and one of them was a walk-off, which was also awesome to see, by Carson Shaner. So shout out to Carson on that. But also too, so again, got to talk about some sports that are close to my heart. In hockey, got to give the Ice Pack a shout out. And because one of the things I want to mention and throw out there is that because again, it's so crazy that literally, again, I know with ice hockey you don't really have like the probability win meter like you do for like the basketball. But I mean, so to basically put into perspective, that literally NC State ice hockey Ice Pack were down 3-0 with 1:55 left in the third period. And so I'm assuming pretty much because I've maybe seen it once in my entire hockey career. But I mean, to literally be down 3-0 with less than 2 minutes to go, you're more likely not winning that game. You're actually you're not winning that game, period. But to literally for Ice Pack to score 3 goals in, I think it was 45 seconds. To tie the game and send it to overtime.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's insane. So again, you have that comeback on top of the Louisville comeback for women's basketball, on top of the comeback for football against Carolina. It's like this year is the year of comebacks for NC State wrestling. They truly have seen that way.
Yep, and then they beat Carolina in the finals.
This is also why I feel like the whole NC State stuff is just a total excuse, man. Like we've had a long series of it, but it's not. I don't think it's real. I think it's just like we've had a long series of bad coaches and different sports and bad results, bad teams, and now it's like this is the product of actually from the top down doing it right. So
exactly. I agree.
I would love to see hockey make the actual jump from.
Oh, me too. And they would do well, I think.
I think they would. Yeah. I mean, it's not a cheap.
Carolina Hurricanes right here. Bruised interest in hockey. I played hockey when I was even younger. Wish I hadn't stopped playing. That was like the one sport that I was actually good at, like really good at naturally. But everything else I was too small. But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I'm just saying, like, I mean, it'd be awesome for them to do that. I would love that. I think there's a lot more interest in NC State hockey compared to some other programs in the ACC. So unlike, not like Boston College or anything like that,
or Notre Dame.
But
yeah.
Well, I mean, and first, I mean, the one thing which I will say is, like, if you're talking about competing against like the Boston Colleges and Notre Dames out there, I mean, that's definitely a whole different beast for sure.
Sure,
But
you would also recruit different types of players at that point too.
Well, you'd have scholarships, you'd have your own
Yeah.
hockey arena. You wouldn't share with the Hurricanes. I mean, but now the one thing which again I will say is at the end of the day, I mean, there's no doubt that ice pack hockey has grown more and more every single year. Like that,
I think it would get a lot of people come out. I think it would have a similar crowd to a women's game. I mean, or a wrestling match, or more. I think it's. I think it's good.
Have about 3,000 to 5,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. I mean, that's about what minor league hockey draws. So, and there's teams that Arizona State has a Division I hockey team.
Yeah.
In fact, the Arizona Coyotes are going to be playing in their arena next year.
And like Bacon was saying, I mean, the Hurricanes are here and they draw fans all the time. I mean, there's interest in hockey. I
would even argue as far as that, I think hockey would be more intriguing to the casual person in the triangle than something even like women's basketball. I mean, I hate to say that, but I think that would be like that, or maybe wrestling. Somebody out there might go see a hockey match versus wrestling. I mean, but the whole point is to say there's so much success there, like that 3-score comeback they had in 45 seconds to get this regular season title. I mean, it's really cool watching the interest and excitement build up for hockey too.
Yeah. Well, because one of the things I want to mention is I know this year there was multiple games this year that were sold out, or pretty much at full capacity, and because even like I remember I actually interviewed Coach Will Healy, the head coach for Ice Pack.
Yeah, we did that
and
he months ago. Yeah.
But I actually interviewed him after, like, at a game, after the game.
At a game. Okay.
Yeah, that too. At a game, yeah. And one of the things that we were talking about was that literally there was a Friday night game. It was against Liberty, which is a big hockey team. So that was a big game.
They're good.
But literally the Hurricanes were playing that night. It was a Friday night, but the Hurricanes were playing that night, and they still had 3,000-4,000 people show up for that game. So it's like, it just shows you that, I mean, not only are there a lot of hockey fans out there, but there are a lot of Ice Pack hockey fans out there. Literally said, instead of going to Hurricanes game, I'm going to go to the Ice Pack game, and I mean that says a lot. So
I'll give you an example. Like, I have a cousin of mine I never see, and I know they relatively live in the Triangle. I think they might live in Charlotte. Just randomly saw that she was wearing an Ice Pack shirt on Facebook, and I was like, "That's so cool! Like, that's really random." I didn't even know there was an interest there, but like.
Oh yeah.
You don't see that. Normally I would see it around like people that are just like us, but I think it's also cool. You see the Hurricanes commentators wearing the Ice Pack jerseys and those kind of things, or Rob Brindamore came out to drop the puck one night. I mean, but just, you just kind of back at your point. There's a lot of interest in the Ice Pack growing.
Yeah. I think they got a cool logo too. I like the logo.
Would it be arguable that it's the fastest growing interest for NC State sport right now? Would it be wrestling, maybe? Or maybe ice hockey?
Wrestling.
Well, I mean, if you're going to talk like full scholarship, it would be definitely wrestling.
Oh, I'm not talking that. I'm just saying.
But overall,
sport.
yes.
Yeah.
I would say yes.
Fast growing?
Yeah.
I
would say hockey would be right there.
Because I would say with wrestling that because, like, you saw, 4 or 5 years ago when we went against Ohio State and lost them big time. I think that was one of our biggest show outs in terms of attendance in wrestling history. And so the reason I would say Ice Pack, no doubt, is because literally over the last couple of years, first of all, I think the team has gotten better. Like, last year they went to the national tournament and, went really far. And they've been dominant against UNC, like, with the what is it, the backyard game at PNC Arena that they had, where they play against UNC at PNC Arena, and I think that gained a lot of interest for the game. But so yeah, again, I mean, because again, literally, I think that, again, I just go back to that. Literally, there was a game where the Hurricanes were playing that same night, and they still had 3,000 people show up. I think that just is within itself.
Crazy.
Where do you ever see that? That's crazy. So
let's not forget that Carter Finley's got to host an outdoor game next year.
Don't mention that. I don't want people to buy tickets from me.
I know.
Greg. So,
I'm actually going to come down
Have some
for that.
awareness, Greg. Jeez.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to
Read the
grow it. What are we
room.
doing? Are we growing it or are we not growing it?
No,
That doesn't need growing. The Hurricanes do not need
not
growing.
until
Yeah.
not
Greg
until we
has
buy our
committed
kid.
to not shaving his beard nor cutting his hair until the end of the baseball season.
Who said that?
Okay.
No,
Macon
Greg.
said it for
I
Greg.
don't know.
I don't know.
Nobody said it.
I was like, who's great? Okay.
Greg's like,
yeah.
I said what?
Oh.
Where
said,
did
what?
that come
Yeah.
from?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that ice pack.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like Tommy Tank over there. Not Greg.
Yeah. But obviously touching on even women's hockey as well. I mean, again, I like one of the things I loved is the ACHL. They have a Twitter account. They tweet out saying congrats to at NC State women's hockey and at Ice Pack for winning the regular season championships. I'm like, oh, I love that. Seeing both teams. It's not like, Pitt and NC State. It's not seeing UNC and NC State. It's NC State and NC State winning the ACHL championships. Like, yeah. I love it. That's amazingness. So, but yeah, again, it's just like Macon was saying though. Again, what a crazy weekend. I mean, there was so much going on. It was,
Let me ask you guys this
crazy.
question for each of you.
Go for it.
What was your favorite thing that happened this weekend for it? Like we've talked about so many, but what was particularly your favorite thing to see?
Michael, go for it.
I think I gotta say Tommy White, just because it was kind of out of nowhere, and we're all dressed up like him. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
It obviously made that big of an impact.
It's like wrestling. Yeah, that was exciting, but we know they're really good. We know we're gonna probably win. Same thing with women's basketball. I don't think anybody said, "Oh, Tommy White's gonna come out this weekend with 5 home runs."
Yeah, absolutely. Greg.
Yeah, I got to go with Michael. Like, I love baseball. I mean, I grew up. That was like the one sport I really played growing up, and having gone out to Omaha for last year, just get opening day is just the best. I mean, it's the best time of the year. Spring. I mean, spring is right around the corner. To Michael's point, like we kind of understood that women's were going to dominate Syracuse, not a very good Syracuse team. Wrestling, I enjoyed wrestling. That would be my number 2. Just again, I'm still learning wrestling, so it's not, it doesn't have as much emotional tugging at my heartstrings like it maybe does for Leighton. So I'll go with baseball.
Yeah, because one of the things I want to mention in terms of like the fastest growing sport that I kind of want to mention with Macon is that like wrestling, it's tough to really explain a lot of things because a lot of it's really kind of up to, because like for example, like a takedown is basically when the ref considers that you have full control of your opponent. Well, what's full control? And it's like, there's certain like scenarios like if you get them to this point, that's more like that's a takedown. But it's still a lot of like, okay, what's an escape? Like, it's not like black and white. Like hockey, if a puck goes into a net, it's a goal. Period.
Yeah.
Like, and like everybody knows like offsides, like that's simple, but like wrestling, it's like, so that's one of the things I want to kind of mention. It's a lot easier for like a novice to go to a hockey game and know what's going on than go to wrestling and know what's going on. So
I think the one thing too that you bring up a good point.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the point that you're making that I would agree with is I have to watch the referee in in wrestling to do like 2 and 1 and all this other stuff because it's like it's very subjective, like you're saying, and so it's up to interpretation. And even Rock Harrison last night listening to the broadcast, he's like it could be, but it's up to the referee. Like I mean, like that was kind of like the point he made every time that he was talking. So I was like, well, that looks to the naked eye that it could be. But,
is it somewhat similar? Well, I would get it's less than this, but like kind of like in football where it's kind of like there's a penalty and it's like, I don't know, but the coach is going to say, but I would say it's even more so because the points are determined by the ref.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the famous saying, "There's a holding on every football play," and yes, I mean, technically there is a holding, but like, what is the line for holding? Like, what are we going to call a holding? So, but yeah, for me, I mean, it's going to be a split between first of all Hayden Heideley coming back and being Mekhi Lewis. I know for me, I should tweet out a video and literally like the video is like shaking because I'm screaming so loud. Let's go! I was screaming so loud. I was so excited for Hayden because that was a huge win for him. to go out like that in his last match in Reynolds
and
Coliseum.
make a comeback from the game.
And make a comeback.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because one thing I want to explain here too, because I actually learned this from talking to actually a wrestling coach, a high school wrestling coach before the match. Because I was like, pull him aside because my wife and I were kind of talking about, because I showed her the replay of Hayden Hadley getting pinned, and she was like, what happened? And me, kind of like Greg, I'm not like a wrestler per se, so I was like, yeah, I don't know. So I asked, and basically what, for those who are interested into basically knowing what happened, is that if you go back, because basically what happens is that Hayden had Clay's leg, and so usually if you have the leg, that's really setting up for you to get the takedown. And so you go asking yourself, well, how did he end up getting pinned 10 seconds later? And so basically what happened is that Hayden, he got too front heavy, and he was dipping his head down, and so he got too front heavy. And so what that allowed is basically Clay to basically wrap around him and allow him to pull over, basically pull Hayden over and flip him. And so that's basically the mistake, is that Hayden didn't stay really upright. He leaned too far in and allowed Clay to pull him over. So, but again, so because one thing I want to mention as well, because I've mentioned this on Twitter, I've heard multiple people mention this and say that they were going to mention it to his family. But the one thing I want to say again is Hayden super impressed me, not only by winning on Sunday, but how he handled the loss on Friday. He won with the utmost class. The
utmost. He lost with the most class. Like
he did.
Absolutely.
He was a sportsman. Like we jokingly talked about that, but earlier.
from the moment he lost the match. No, well, but even from the moment he lost the match, what did he do? He walked over to Clay, shook his hand, and probably said something along the lines of, "Hey, nice move," or "Hey, nice match." Like and he did, and he did that, and he didn't, like slam in, let out some words and all that, which I mean, probably rightfully so, because I mean, there's no doubt he should have. He was winning that match.
Yeah, he was.
But but he literally stayed there. He watched his brother wrestle. He watched the rest of the team wrestle. When it was announced that NC State was now technically the ACC dual champions, he clapped and he stuck around, took pictures. He smiled from ear to ear the whole time. And I know that, again, I just have to mention that because I mean, anybody who has a child in sports, anybody who is in sports, go back and watch that. Like that is exactly how that should be handled. And I so hats off to Hayden, because there's nobody more competitive than Hayden. And so for somebody as competitive as him to still handle that situation with the utmost class like he did, hats off to him on that. So I couldn't let this live stream go without mentioning that. But so it's a tie between that and obviously the ice pack coming back and winning, because I mean, it looked bleak. Even myself, I was like, daggone, I can't believe we're about to lose. And we came back. So and I know, because I have to mention that too, because unfortunately I wasn't able to go because it was in Winston-Salem, but I wanted to be there, no doubt.
Layton, did you have any babies when they won?
Oh, no doubt.
Baby.
Oh, no doubt. Now again, I was at home, and I was actually sitting with my wife and my mom, talking about the weekend so far. But I was keeping up with it, watching on WRL Sports Fan. I was like, oh man, it was crazy. I mean, yeah. I wish there was a replay. I've been trying to find like a replay of it, but I haven't really been able to find it. So I maybe need to do more digging. But
I do know Pack TV, the app on Apple, definitely carries a lot of those games too. So if you have that app, Pack TV, shows a lot of those type of club sports.
So I know that was a long talk for me. So Macon, I want to let you, man. What was your favorite moment this weekend?
I even forgot I asked that question. I mean, it was really cool seeing Tommy White just crush home runs, like myself, like myself. But no, I'm totally kidding. But that was awesome. I think, I mean, what got me excited was honestly just, I mean, that individually, but the women's team just doing something has not been done in 32 years.
Yeah,
and that's a big deal. Like, they've won the NCAA, the ACC title twice, but never won the regular season title. Now they've done it. So the seniors can say, we've won 2 ACC titles, been to the Sweet 16, and now have won an ACC regular season titles. Have been done in
4.
They've won what?
They've won 4. They won 3 tournaments and 1 regular season.
I thought they won the ACC tournament twice
recently.
Oh, it's going to be 3 times. I got you. Sorry. So as right now,
they've won it
3.
twice. They won it 2 times in a row for the seniors. They've won it 2 times in a row. They've won. They've won the Sweets. They've been to the Sweet 16. They've now won an AC regular season title that's not happened in 32 years. Have a chance to been played for a for a third AC title, and they're going. They are the 1 seed in the tournament. They're going to be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, and I mean, greatest women's basketball, class from like 3 or 4 years ago.
It's kind of hard to call them a class though because of the COVID
Raina Perez and I get that.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, the greatest group. How about we go with that?
Madison Hayes from Mississippi State, Diamond Johnson from Rutgers. I get that, but I mean, it really was built around Elisa Cunane and then Kai Crutchfield and Jakia Brown Turner, Kayla Jones. It was that group, and they built around. They brought in Raina, they brought in Diamond, they brought in Madison Hayes. So it was just, it was that's really cool to me. History like that is what really matters. I mean, wrestling is history too, but they just did it last year. So I thought the women's team was pretty cool to see them do that.
What did you think about that?
And that meant a lot to them. That's a banner. Just like again, the wrestling is a banner, but I mean, I don't know. I just had to go with women's basketball as like a unit.
Yeah. What did you think about those retro uniforms they were wearing yesterday?
They needed to keep them.
I love them.
Nice.
They're unique.
I love the color. It's like a little bit.
It's kind of close to Louisville's, and that's the only thing I'll say.
I
think it needs to be more like red, like bold, strong red.
Wolfpack red.
It was cool. Right. Yeah.
So here's another question. Follow up on uniforms. Do you like State or NC State on the uniform?
Oh, State. It's got to be State.
Yeah, I do.
Now I like the retro look of the NC with the 2 dots. I mean, it just looks like old school, but. Like for instance, if you're doing like for instance, like let's go to men's basketball for a second. They had the jerseys this season.
Yeah,
those look sick. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, but I saw them saw them in the game. I was like, man, why don't we do that regularly? Like, why literally can that not be how we do it? But when you go back to something like back in 2013, 2014, when we had the all red jerseys just at State, even it wasn't like the old school font that looked cool. Then we had the jerseys at the Madison Square Garden. We had the net
in my closet.
Yeah. Oh man,
I got that one too.
Those State, that's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah. I like the clean look. I'm okay with the new script. It's like whatever.
I had that jersey too, Michael.
Yeah, I got that one too.
Yeah. That's sick.
And I just like it. I think it looks more iconic. I don't know.
And I think after that year, I think that was 2011 or 2012. I think Michigan State actually trademarked the word State, which is why we haven't used it since then.
Oh, interesting.
We'll buy it.
I don't know how they're able to get away with that, but
nobody calls them State. If anybody's calling somebody State, it's NC State. Like, generally speaking, in the country, it's State. I would say, Michigan State is probably up there, but they don't. I mean, like,
I've never heard
any of that.
I've never heard them call Michigan State on a broadcast.
Mississippi.
Granted, I don't.
It's usually State, Duke, Carolina. You don't hear them call State and Michigan. You don't hear that.
Yeah.
No.
Michigan versus State. You don't hear that.
Yeah.
No, Michigan versus State. That's where it kind of throw you off. It's not like you call UNC
or Arizona versus State. You don't hear Arizona State. You just
right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing I would
State. You don't.
That's the thing I would say. That's the thing I would throw back at them. Yeah, and
Mississippi State, great point. Mississippi State. You don't. I mean, Ole Miss versus now. That's the one I do think they kind of do that with Ole Miss.
They do say State,
with Mississippi State, but when you say State, more so people, I would say probably think NC State or Michigan State.
Yeah,
maybe now with baseball they might think a little bit Michigan State, but
I don't know.
But that
forgetting
but
into
hey,
like
I don't know. That's 100% unbiased. So, but yes, no, but no. Again, at the end of the day, it's I think we'll go back to what Greg's point was about the women's uniforms. Yes, let's keep them, no doubt.
I like the Wolfpack script on the shorts. Like I like that script that they use.
I like pack. I like the pack on the shorts. That's just like a old school look that we still do, and I think it looks nice.
Yep. So welcome to Tuffy Uniform Talk. We appreciate y'all tuning in with us.
I don't know. I like the I like talking uniforms. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority there, but
that was one of the things we did early on, right? Like when we first started, it was like, "Hey, what's your favorite jersey?"
Yeah.
You guys did that.
Well, and I mean, geez, I mean, how could you? I mean, because that's the thing. There's just so many options these days. Like like used to, there was two. There was a home and away, but now there's so many alternates for so many sports. It's like, golly, like how could you pick? So,
then you got retros and all that stuff.
Exactly. So, but no, and so
Layton, I'm still getting over your hair, man. It looks hilarious.
I know, right? Well, see, that's what I'm saying is like I was thinking like ahead of time like that if these headphones didn't fit over me, that I was gonna just get like some Apple headphones. And honestly, I think for next time I'm just gonna do the Apple headphones because it looks really goofy right now because it looks like my hair is just like right here, and then like the headphone just like cuts it all off. So yeah, see, I should do like Greg, where I should do like the headphones like underneath, but the problem is I don't have the beard like Greg does to hide like this right here, so that's the problem. So, but something to think about for next time. So.
We're gonna bring my weight again. I get it. I think that's enough.
Oh, I said the beard. I said the beard.
We can close the first ever Tommy Tanks fan club meeting.
All we can say though is that the wig and the beards, which some of y'all have, ours are all real beards. Mine is a very poor version of it. But the glasses, it started here. We've documented it. If everybody starts doing it in the fans, it started here. I'm just saying.
I saw someone mention that it was brought up on the ACC broadcast.
Greg, more specifically, you were brought up.
I don't need to take credit. Like we're all one here.
Greg's like, please stop.
No, we're all one. Like, if one of us comes up with a great idea, it's all of our idea. So
I love it.
I'm licensing it out to everybody.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
What a guy.
Amen.
That's Tommy.
You heard it here
first.
Guy. Exactly. Well, again, Wolfpack Nation, unfortunately, eventually we have to end this live stream, even though, again, we can honestly talk about this past weekend for days, probably. Like, there was so much to dive into. But first of all, again, just got to give a hats off to the 5 ACC or conference championships, obviously, with swimming and diving, in-state ice pack, women's ice pack, wrestling, and women's basketball. So hats off to you guys, but also hats off to Pac softball, in-state baseball, women's tennis, you name it. So hats off to everybody. What an awesome weekend it was. But again, make sure to tune in with us next week, as again, we'll have our next live stream next week as well. This week, we're going to be actually releasing a NC State softball preview, even though we've already obviously started softball season. Completely get that, but we're going to be diving in a little bit.
Mid-season preview of the whole season.
Well, hey, it's only been 2 weeks that I've gone by.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
We haven't got the ACC play yet. You're fine.
End of the season, let's preview the whole season.
Yeah, the season doesn't start till you play ACC play. So
I have a feeling that we're going to start 9-1.
End of the season. So what do you think our record's going to be?
Like Johnny Carson opens up the envelope. There we go. 17-4.
Exactly. But thank you all so much again for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed it. And also too, this is officially the end of the Tommy Tank White first ever fan club.
It's me, guys. Okay. Look.
Oh my God, it's me. Oh my God, it's Greg.
Steve, look, it's not. I know.
I know. My hat hurts. Ow. Golly.
I know my hair is on fire.
All right. So anyway, y'all,
this is a terrible ending. Just end it.
Hey, have a great week, everybody, and hey, we'll see y'all soon. As always, go Pack, y'all. We'll see y'all soon. All right.
Go Pack.